Hi all, it's Jan of the Jan Files. I hope you will subscribe to my channel if you haven't and hit the notify button. I'm also on a mission to get 2,000 subscribers, so if you can help out, I'd appreciate it. So I'm going to talk about a few different things today. I'm going to just first describe, I had the opportunity to go see the Donald J. Trump and Epstein reading room in Lower Manhattan. Um, it was quite an emotional experience. If you have the opportunity to do it, please do. Um, just to quickly tell you what it's like is you walk into a gallery space, and on either side of the walls are bookcases that are filled with volumes of the Epstein files. What they did was they printed them out and double-sided. They bound them in volumes and then put them up in these bookcases. And there are over 3,000 of them. And that doesn't begin to cover all of the Epstein files, obviously. It certainly covers what has been released, but there's at least another 3 million. And depending on whether you listen to the Channel 4, the British Channel 4, they've determined that there are far more, millions more files based on when they went through the Epstein files. So anyway you look at it, it is overwhelming. It just shows you this expanse of this network. It shows it physically is important. It impacted me because it just made me feel overwhelmed by the amount. There was a timeline too that they put on the wall. There are computers downstairs if you want to visit the Epstein files on the Justice Department's website, and there's also a bulletin board where people leave notes for the survivors. You can't touch the volumes because obviously they wouldn't last because they're paper, if everybody picked up and went through it. But it's devastating. It is a devastating exhibit. And those who did so with such respect, and they handle it there with such respect. I encourage you to go. I don't think most of us who are listening to me, have ever lost sight of what these women and girls and men and boys went through. I think that what we're going to find out, it was more horrendous than we ever thought. And so, if you get the opportunity, do it. It's uncomfortable, but as a nation, and especially as white people, we need to be more willing to be uncomfortable. And I know most of these women were white, so it's not about that. It's about the fact that a lot of us have learned to turn our heads when the going gets rough versus open ourselves to it and be able to learn and to understand. And that's what we really need to do now. We need to support all of these people, all of the victims, all of the survivors, and we need to go after every single motherfucker, no matter who they are, that participated in this network. And we're not. Right now, we are clear that this government has no use for the truth, that they're absolutely covering up for Donald Trump, who I believe is a pedophile, and they have no interest in getting justice for anyone. And when you also, I don't know if those of you also paid attention to the hearing that was in West Palm Beach this past week that the Democrats held. And in it, they talked about a woman who, a woman came forward and said she was abused by Jeffrey Epstein while he was in jail. What she means by that was he got out every day. They didn't hold him in jail. He was able to go to a home. He also went to a building, supposedly where he worked. And he actually at one point went home to New York. So that is just another example of how badly this government has handled this case from the beginning. Now, this was back in, what happened in Palm Beach was back in 2005, 6, 7, 8. And this was during the Bush administration that Acosta worked and was the Southern District U.S. Attorney in Florida. And so Acosta needs to be held accountable. He obviously has lied and lied and lied. He knows a lot more than he's ever saying. And we should make it clear as Democrats from today forward at any point that every single one of these people has to be held accountable. And even if they're not now, even if it takes, till next January we start holding these people accountable, or if it takes another 2 years, these people should know that we're going to get them. They need to know that we are laser focused on accountability. And that, I think, should be coming out of every goddamn Democrat's mouth. In the House, in the Senate, on a local level, we are going to come for you. Period. And it won't ever come out of Republican mouth. Thomas Massey is the only one who's saying that. We have the Nancy Maces or whatever, but she thinks that Trump has been exonerated. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Neither does she. So Trump is a pedophile. He's in these files over 30,000 times. There's in my mind, there's no doubt. So anyway, that experience of going there just reinvigorated me. But I think it's really important that we keep saying, and that we keep calling and saying, I want you to hold these people accountable. I want all of these men and women who participated in this held accountable. And if you live in a Republican district with a Republican senator or rep, you should be calling and saying, you are part of this. I see you as part of this cover-up because you have done nothing. And I think it's important to communicate that on every level. We are not giving this fight up. And I'm only feeling more determined after having that experience. Now, the other couple things I want to mention, these are more quick things. Tomorrow, I promise, I'm going to do the piece on RFK Jr. and the health department, or the HHS, because that is literally, he's killing people. Not with a hammer or not with a gun or not with a knife, but he's still doing it the same with his policies. So I will talk about that tomorrow. There's a couple more things I want to make sure you know. Did you know that Sean Duffy, the Department of Transportation Secretary, has literally done a reality show, spent 7 months filming that show while he was Secretary of the Department of Transportation? It was funded in part by Boeing, who put $1 million up, and by Toyota, who put $1 million up. So you hear me, Toyota. So that's another list, boycott, Toyota. And if you looked at the one that I put out the other day about the Southern boycott, about the companies that are in these Louisiana, Tennessee, and Alabama, you will also see Hyundai and Mercedes-Benz. So, folks, our money is hugely powerful. How we spend our money. And it's not a joke. It's not like I have stopped Amazon, stopped my Prime account. I have no Uber, done with Uber, on to Lyft. We need to make sure that we are not supporting these companies. FedEx is a big one out of Tennessee. No FedEx. Don't use FedEx. There's USPS and there's UPS. At least right now, we're okay with them. But FedEx, big bad Tennessee. And so we need to make, conscious monetary choices about what we're doing with our money. And it really does make a difference. Look what happened to Target. Now we need to focus and we need to really look at the southern states to see how they can be impacted, especially with their sports teams. From college to semi-pro to pro, we should be tanking them. And so, this comes from, as I just said, we have a cabinet member who literally is doing a reality show. You know what? You can't make this shit up. If somebody told you that our head of defense, Department of Defense was a drunk, what'd you say? Really? Oh God, that's not a good idea. The head of the FBI is a drunk. Not a good idea. Okay. The Transportation Secretary is more interested in plastering his face on television than doing his fucking job. I mean, we are in such a shit show. It's hard to turn one way and not be disgusted to the point of wanting to vomit. And now we have Trump in China, who basically just kind of laid down and said, oh, please, help me, China. Help me, Xi Jinping. Help me. I need you to stop this war I didn't know what to do with. And I made the mistake of listening to Hegseth, and we've accomplished nothing. I got to end it. I don't know what to do. And Xi Jinping was like, too bad. Maybe we'll help you in Iran. But what I really want to talk to you about is not letting you interfere in fucking Taiwan. We are looked upon as pariahs now. Americans are looked upon as pariahs. This government is a joke. We have basically alienated all of our allies. And we have screwed this country up economically and defensively for generations. It is not going to take overnight to repair the damage this fucker has done. It is not. And it's time, if you have, and I'm going to end on this, if you happen to have family and friends who still talk to you about these issues, make sure they know. Because I just had this experience this week on Facebook in a group called That's Debatable. I don't know what the fuck, I don't know why I sometimes respond to things just because I feel like it, whatever. So this group, whatever, it's called That's Debatable. And they posted a post about how do you deal with family and friends that are MAGA? I mean, that was the essence of the post. And you would think by now that maybe fucking white people would get it. We don't. I mean, there are people there saying, well, I don't talk about politics with them, but in general, she is a good person. So my response to that is, you're calling racists good people? Oh, no, that's not what I said, and don't put words in my mouth. And I said, you just said that this person who supports Trump is a good person. You don't get there. No, that doesn't fly with me. Because anyone who supports this motherfucker is a racist to their core. And if you haven't figured out that yet, you should look around and figure it out now. And the fact that you're telling me this is politics, I'm saying to you, it's morals, it's integrity, it's who you are in the world is part of who you vote for. So don't tell me you vote for somebody who is a racist, but you're not a racist. Fuck you, bullshit. And this is what I constantly encounter from liberals. And they got offended at me. I mean, one woman was like not texting me, posting against me, and literally was suggesting that somehow my point of view was white supremacy. So I can tell you that we still have a lot of work on our side, folks. This is not just the MAGA who are complicit. It is a lot of liberal white people who think they have the right to say, oh, this is a good person, even if they voted for Donald Trump. Really. Women are dying. People of color are dying because of ICE. Black people are being robbed of their vote. They're being taken, the history of black people are being wiped clean from the Defense Department and other departments. We're celebrating the Confederacy again by renaming, by reinstituting names that were Confederate names on our bases. This is the most racist piece of shit government. And I can't go back to like Reconstruction and that time. I'm sure it was equally as racist. But in terms of where we are now, we should all be shouting from the rooftops about the white nationalist, white Christian nationalist bullshit that is being pushed in our faces. Do not let anybody tell you differently. And if you have anybody around you, like these people in this group that I encountered, I would do to them what I did. I'm like, basically, fuck you. You're part of the problem. You haven't held these people accountable. And when you don't hold anybody accountable, when you don't hold them accountable for their vote, you are part of the problem. So I'm going to let go of this because I could go all night. And tomorrow I am going to absolutely post about RFK Jr. and what he has done. And it will probably be longer, but whatever. I hope you will follow up. Make sure you hit the notify button so you know when I post something. And again, looking for 2,000 subscribers by end of May. Thank you. Take care.